Welcome everybody to today's webinar. My name is Tamás Holic. I'm the CTO of STA Consulting, and today I'll show you how you can connect your SAP systems with external ITSM platforms. So let's start with a little bit of introduction. STA Consulting is based in Budapest, Hungary, Central Europe. We are an SAP application development partner and also a ServiceNow Bronze technology partner. We focus on building out-of-the-box add-ons for SAP, and we also do custom SAP development and consulting. So that's it. I wanted to keep it short. Let's talk about the product. And first I'd like to talk about the problems that we're trying to solve. So we worked at a lot of different multinational companies throughout the years as ABAP developers and business analysts, and we received a lot of incoming tickets. Unfortunately, a lot of them were incomplete and incorrect, and that didn't really help with solving the problems. So we decided to build an application that would basically make our own life easier, and later then we created a product, an add-on product out of this idea. So there are some other problems, like many incidents are actually duplicates of each other, and then the service desk has to spend a lot of time identifying the duplicates and handling them. Also, there are a lot of incoming tickets which are very easily solved by the end user. They just don't know how to do it. And also, routing the incidents to the correct support group is sometimes hard, or at least it takes some efforts. And finally, the problem we've also faced is that if someone uses a monitoring tool, let's say in Solution Manager, and an alert is raised, then tickets have to be created manually in external ITSM platforms, and that again takes a lot of time. The next slide is about some examples. So we had trouble with error reports which were missing basic information, like which SAP system was affected, what transaction was running with what data, what was the selection criteria for report that was executed, and so on. Also, we can't expect SAP end users to enter technical information into incidents like screen numbers and program names and so on. Sometimes they even mistype certain identifiers, and then the developers might end up debugging a perfectly working process because maybe 2 days later it turns out that the material number or the sales document number was mistyped in the error description. And one of the most frequent problems is that service desk people have to ask for screenshots, ask for authorization reports almost every time. Naturally, all this results in extra communication that slows down the whole process. So these are the fundamental pain points that we're trying to solve, and the solution is an add-on, an SAP add-on, which is written in ABAP. It must be installed on the SAP application server, and once it's installed, the end users can report errors directly from the SAP user interface, either by having a custom menu item in the system menu, or we can also redirect the standard Solution Manager menu item, which would create a ticket in Solution Manager service desk. However, our add-on can forward it to external ITSM platforms. So the incidents are created in the external system. Today we'll use ServiceNow as an example, and it also attaches all information that is relevant for the problem automatically. We also have some advanced features for the most frequent pain points I've discussed. I'll show everything today. And we also have an optional certified ServiceNow application which has some extra features. If you don't install this on your ServiceNow instance, then you can still use the product. But on the ServiceNow side, you won't have some extra features. Alright, so let's jump into the demo and see how it works. So I will execute now a standard transaction called BA03 to display a sales order. And maybe now as an SAP end user I realize that a certain field is incorrect. Let's say this payment terms is populated by a user exit, some ABAP code, and this should be something different. So I report this as an error. All I need to do is to double click on this SAP icon here, and now I get a pop-up which asks for a confirmation to take a screenshot. So this is done by our add-on, and unless you're on a sensitive HR or FI transaction, then you can allow the program to take a screenshot. So now the main screen appears, and here I can enter a subject like value of payment terms is incorrect. Here I can enter long text, which will be pretty short now. And the interesting part is at the bottom. So here we can see ServiceNow fields that are relevant for your SAP user. This is the default template that we deliver. You have the impact, urgency, and severity, but naturally you can customize this. You might not want to show all these fields. You might want to show additional fields. Maybe you have developed some custom fields in ServiceNow that you want to display here as well. That's possible. This bottom part is a customer subscreen, so you can copy this delivered template and do any modification on that. So now I will make this a very high priority ticket, and naturally you can upload attachments here. So if your problem is related to maybe an Excel upload functionality that's not working, then you can attach the Excel file, for instance. Additionally, we have a screen fields button here, and you can see that the program gathers all the screen fields that are displayed on the SAP screen, and this checkbox will control if these should be added to the ticket or not. By default, now it's set to attach everything to the ticket. Here you can enter a comment like this is incorrect. Alright. So I will tick this checkbox, which will open the incident in the browser once it is created. So press send. Now the program gathers all the information of the SAP system, user, and so on, creates the ticket in ServiceNow, and uploads the attachments. Here we go. So this is our vendor instance, and now you can see the incident is created in the support portal. So this is the view that the end user will see. Here you can see that the screenshot is attached. Here we have a shortcut to the problematic transaction, an authorization check, which is the output of transaction SU53, and also a PDF file. However, now I'd like to show you how it looks like here. If you are an administrator user or a service desk user. So you can see that all the drop downs are set according to the selection in SAP. Everything is high. This is a critical problem. Here you have the caller is set to me because we have the mapping in SAP. Even better, if you don't do any mapping, then the email address maintained in the user master record will be passed as the caller to ServiceNow. So let's see what we have here. Actually, we have the screenshot. You don't have to ask for it. It will be automatically attached to every single incident. Here you have the authorization report converted to an HTML file. So you can see that there are no authorization problems. By the way, that's visible from the file name itself as well. You have a shortcut to the transaction. So if you click on that, then the SAP logon is opened, and you can directly jump to the problematic transaction in the specific system and client. Okay, and we also have a PDF file. This PDF file is generated based on a smart form. So this is a template that we deliver. Of course, this is very easy to customize. You can add and hide sections as you wish. At the top you have a header with the ServiceNow incident number, the affected user, system, and so on. Here we have the short and long description and the selected drop-down items. And now comes the tricky part, which is very valuable for the service desk people and especially the ABAP developers who will actually end up solving the problem, because you will have all the technical information of the currently running program attached. So you will never ever receive this information from simple SAP end users, but the program will attach it. You can see the program names, screen number, subscreen number, and so on. And we also have specific sections which are empty in these cases. So if you have a runtime error, then you have related information here. If there was an error message, then you get all the message number, variables, and so on. If it has a report with a selection screen, then you will have all the selection criteria listed here. We'll have an example of that in a later example. Here we have all the screen fields listed. So remember, these were the ones that we were ticking the checkboxes. Actually, everything was ticked by default. And here we'll have the comment to the terms of payment. So you can see that in this program, this subscreen, this field had this value, and this is incorrect. Your end users don't have to type anything, and they have no chance to mistype anything. So that's really good. Okay, so this transaction had a lot of fields. So the next section is the call stack, which was again very simple because we were on the first screen itself, but this section displays the program flow, which is again useful for the developers. Then we have the next section, which is about the GUI information. We can see that it's an SAP GUI for Windows with a specific version, with some information on the client computer. You have everything about the SAP backend user. You have all the information to get in touch. And naturally, you have everything about the SAP system, the client, the database, versions, kernel, whatsoever. So really, everything is attached to every incident, which can be useful for solving the problem. The last section contains all the SAP components with the release and support package level, so you will know what kind of modules are installed. In the configuration, you can hide specific sections, so if you don't need these, let's say the component list, then you can simply untick a checkbox in the configuration and you don't have to modify the smart form. Alright, so let's jump to the next interesting thing, which is down here below. You remember we have an optional ServiceNow add-on, which is, by the way, certified by ServiceNow, and if you install that on your ServiceNow instance, then you will have one extra tab here, SAP Technical Details. If you click on that, you can see one record, which shows you the system ID, date and time, transaction code, and the most important things here. However, if you click on that, then you get all information which was in the PDF file displayed by ServiceNow. So remember, this app stores all these details in ServiceNow tables. So whatever you've seen in the PDF file is also here. Here you have the screen fields, components, and so on. So the question that you might ask is, why do we do this PDF thing if we can store everything in ServiceNow? The answer is simple. If you don't use ServiceNow but a different ticketing tool, then we cannot use this one. Then we generate the PDFs which we can attach to incidents in any ITSM platform. Alright, so let's jump back to SAP. I'll leave this transaction, and also I will now jump into our Solution Manager instance. And here we'll modify the configuration to change the fields that are visible. So you can maintain multiple configurations in the central solution manager system, or in fact any of the SAP systems, and assign these to systems. So let's say we have the ServiceNow connection that we were using. If you double click, you can see that you only have description and an active flag. That's pretty simple. And now I will go into change mode, select this one, and go to the detailed configuration. I will explain a few things here. First of all, here we have a solution manager enhancement mode. So either you can choose active, and in that case we will not send any tickets to external systems but to solution manager service desk, and add all the extra attachments to the support messages. Or you can choose to have this inactive, and if you choose this to be inactive, then you have to use the system and use STA add-ons and create a modified ticket to submit error messages. And the one that we've used was the replace standard functionality, so that means double clicking here on the SAP icon or using the help create support message menu item to submit the tickets, but replace the functionality, so send the tickets to an external tool. Here you can see the options of the deployment or architecture. So now we're using web service stuff. Here you can choose email client, SAP Office portal, or directly to solution manager. But the reason why I came to this transaction is to replace this subscreen program. This is something that we've done for a German customer of ours. So I now press save. I jump back to the other system. So this is the ERP system. I have to open a new window because the changes will only have effect if I open a new window. I double click on the icon. Okay, let's take a screenshot. And now you can see that we have something completely different here. So this specific customer wanted to have a radio button here where they can select what kind of problem we have, actually if it's an idea or a problem or it's just performance issue. And here we have basically the impact field or something like that. We have the business impact and field which describes how many users this problem affects. So this is very simple. This is how you can have any kind of subscreen here which matches your business requirements. So let me jump again back here and go back to our standard delivery. Again, I open a new window. Well, actually I will log in with another user for the next use case. So I will execute transaction VA05N, and then I want to see sales orders for sales organization 3000, and then I press execute, and then I get a message that there are no documents. However, I know that there must be some documents for the sales organization. I ask my colleagues, they confirm, yes, I should see something here. So this is an error that I want to submit. So again, I go here, double click. Let's make a screenshot. And now I will enter a new text like no documents in VA05N. Alright, let's open the incident and see what happens. Okay, so now you can see one difference from just a glance. The file name of the authorization report is different. You can see that it has failed. So let's see what it contains. The output of the standard SAP authorization check, which clearly shows that this user tried to display documents for sales organization 3000, Of course, this is the authorization object that is relevant. However, this user only has authorization for sales organization 1000, and that's why he didn't see any records. So now I don't have to pick up the phone, write emails, ask for a screenshot, ask for this authorization report to do whatever. I immediately know what the problem is and I can take action. Alright, so the next thing would be related to assignment groups or support groups. So that's why I go again back to the configuration in our central solution manager system. I now leave the transaction and execute this ServiceNow specific configuration. Here you can see that you can maintain multiple RFC destinations pointing to different ServiceNow instances, and all settings are maintained per destination. So this is the one that we will use now, and I tick this checkbox to display the assignment group. By the way, you can see the groups defined here. So here you have a code, a name, and this is the system ID of SysID from ServiceNow. You have to maintain this. We provide a program that automatically synchronizes, so you don't have to necessarily manually fill everything. And we will also add some default settings here. So you can see that for each SAP system, job name, transaction, or application component, you can assign default values for the impact, urgency, severity, and the assignment group. So let's make a new entry. So maybe for transaction BP, I want to add something. Everything can be medium. And then the group should be, I don't know, maybe finance, whatever. Also, I will make another record with the application component SD. So all the sales and distribution related transactions will be routed to another group, to sales and distribution. It's not necessary to select the values here, but if you do, that will override the defaults. Let's say like this. So I press save. So once I've modified this in my central system, all the connected systems will be updated. Again, I have to open a new window to make effect, and then I execute PA03. Again, I submit a ticket. Okay, this is another feature that I will discuss later. The program warns me that someone has already submitted a ticket in the last 12 hours. Do I really want to create a new one? Yeah, let's create a new ticket. So the subject should be test. That's it. And here you can see that because we were executing sales and distribution transaction, my fields are set according to the customizing. So, well, I don't need to open this in a browser window. After the ticket is created, I will just jump here and see what kind of incidents we have here. This is the last one. And you can see that the assignment group is set to sales and distribution. So again, this helps the service desk team the most. I mean, they don't have to spend time on this, deciding who should take over this incident. This is done automatically. Let's jump back to the configuration transaction once more. I go to change mode action, where I select my ServiceNow configuration and choose related ticket settings. And here I'd like to show you how you can set up an automatic search into knowledge base. So here you have a field for the related articles function module where we deliver a standard implementation for ServiceNow that's going to perform a knowledge base search based on the subject. Naturally, you can copy this, change it to search by tags or by whatever kind of criteria, and we'll also set this checkbox to make this knowledge base search mandatory. So let me save. Let's jump back to this one. Let's open a new window so changes take effect. And now I will execute transaction Miro to create an invoice. So here, enter some data. I get some messages. I select a PO as a reference. Good, and then I make a modification that I want to sell this for double the price, so I change everything to 30. So you can see that I got a message here. So let's see what it is. The price is too high. The tolerance limit was exceeded. Maybe I'm a novice SAP user. I don't know what this means. So I want to submit an error again. Let's take a screenshot. And now you can see that there's an additional section down here. And if I enter, let's say, tolerance limit and hit enter, then you can see that the knowledge base articles found. I double click on it and it's open, so I can get an immediate solution for my problem. This is the issue. I was working with this transaction. This is my error message. And this is the solution. I have to do this in this transaction or something else in another one. So I can press cancel. This will help you to reduce the incoming ticket volume to your service desk by providing the solutions for your end users. I'm not sure if you've noticed, but the send button was disabled when the screen appeared, and it was only enabled once I performed the knowledge base search. So this is how we can force your end users to make the search, and if they don't find anything, then they can proceed with sending the ticket. So the next thing that I'd like to show you is the handling of runtime errors and duplicates, because that's a good example. So I will execute this report, which will result in a short dump. Actually, it just does a division by 0. So let me submit this to the service desk. I don't need a screenshot because the whole short dump will be attached automatically as an HTML file. So now I enter runtime error test. You can see now that the send button is disabled. I have to modify it. Again, we've set a default group, so it will go to the basis team, and so I have to enter that the search is done. We don't have anything in the knowledge base for this subject, and then I create a ticket. You can see here that the ticket was created in ServiceNow. Maybe 2 minutes later, another user executes the same thing, gets the same error message, and wants to submit the same ticket. Now in this case, you have this pop-up that we've already shown a few minutes ago that shows you that a specific user has already submitted a ticket from this transaction. So your question might be, how do we identify the relevant tickets that are listed here? If it's a short dump, then actually the program name, the include, and the source code line must be exactly the same, and also the error type. So if it's exactly the same, then this will be listed in this little window. However, if it's not a short dump, then we check the transaction code, program name, and some basic things. So it might be possible that based on the subject and the long text, the user realizes that it's not exactly his or her problem. So basically you have three choices. If it's exactly your problem, then you can press cancel, and then you will not create an extra ticket that the service desk had to deal with. If it's not your problem, it's just from the same transaction, then you can still press create a new ticket. But ServiceNow offers a third option. So if you select this incident because it matches your problem, you can press link ticket. Once you do that, yes, I will confirm that this should be the reference ticket. Now at the top of the main screen you get this one listed here. So I enter something here. This is my problem too. Let's open this. Oh, well, I don't need it because I will check it as an administrator user. Again, I must perform the knowledge base search. I press send. And now I will jump to the browser here and check my incidents. First of all, I check this one. Here you can see among the related records that the parent incident is set. Also, for the next incident, you can see that among the child incidents, you can see the second one. So this is how you can link incidents together, and it's important because all the child incidents will not affect your KPIs, your SLAs. So if you experience a problem that 1,000 users will report, those will not ruin your KPIs. Only the parent incident is taken into account, and it's also much easier to close all the child incidents at once. You remember, if you install our ServiceNow application to the ServiceNow instance, then we can also deliver a dashboard. This dashboard contains pre-configured analytics for your SAP related incidents. So here you can see an incident timeline per SAP system, maybe drill down per priority. You can see the most frequent dialog error messages. You have information about the distribution of tickets among systems and client types. You can see the most problematic transaction codes. You have information on your background jobs. Well, actually it's very simple. We just tested with this single one. So it's a pretty simple chart. Again, short dumps, you have it's again all the division by 0, but you have more meaningful ones here, I'm sure, for the alerting and monitoring infrastructure. You can see the alert types per hour, ratings, categories, managed objects, and so on. So we deliver dashboards that you can immediately use to pinpoint hidden gaps and better optimize your ServiceNow or support desk resources. Finally, I'd like to go back to the configuration settings again. Naturally, you don't want to send all tickets to an external ticketing system. You have those type of issues that you want to send to SAP. So if it's a problem in the core SAP product, then you want SAP to provide support for you. And in that case, naturally you can have all the extra information attached to your support messages that are first sent to your solution manager service desk, and if your support guys identify that that's a standard problem, they can forward the ticket to SAP. So again, I will now untick this one and choose this one. Actually, you can have multiple configurations active at the same time. I'm just doing this for the demo. For instance, you can assign configurations to systems And you can also use wildcard characters, so everything that starts with P could be production system, or maybe everything that ends with P could be production system, and that can be routed to Snow. Others should be routed to somewhere else. You can set up rules like that. But now let me go back here to make sure that this is set. Okay, I save. And then I open again a new window. And I start a transaction, BP, and then double click. So now again we take a screenshot, but after that the standard SAP Solution Manager pop-up will come up. Here I can enter a short and the long text and press send. So now the same thing happens. The program gathers all the information, creates the Solution Manager support message, and attaches everything. So if we now jump to this window and press search, then we'll have one new item here. Please forgive me for showing this in a Solution Manager instance that's not configured properly, so we don't have this order party and stuff like that set, but that's not important. That's standard SAP. The important thing is here. So among the attachments you can see that everything is here: the screenshot, the PDF, the shortcut, the authorization report, everything is attached. So if this is forwarded to SAP using this button, then they can get a much more detailed support message, and then you can expect a much quicker solution from SAP. Alright, so this was basically the demo that I wanted to go through. Let's jump back to the PowerPoint and summarize what we have. So this is about the added value. Naturally, SAP end users can create the tickets quicker. They don't have to pick up the phone or write emails manually. Most of the data entry is automatic. The automated data collection is a big hit for all participants. So the end users, basis guys, the service desk, your analysts and developers, and even the SAP support will love that feature, that they don't have to ask for details. Everything's included. The knowledge-based search is important for the end users. They can solve some of their problems themselves, and of course it's good for the service desk as they don't get as much tickets. Again, elimination of duplicate incidents helps to free up your resources, better organize your resources at the service desk because of less incoming tickets. Again, the automatic support group determination helps you to resolve the problems quicker. The automatic reaction of Solution Manager alerts is mostly good for your basis guys because now they have to do it manually. So whenever they receive an alert in the alert inbox, then they have to manually create an incident for that. And of course, if you can enrich your SAP support messages with all the extra data, then you can expect a faster resolution. That's good for SAP. They have to spend less time on solving the problem, and that's good for your service desk as well. Here we have a slide about our customers and what we have done with them. So you can see that most customers we have use ServiceNow, but we have some others as well. Some of them required some customization, some do not. And also in the source system we have S4HANA users, ECC, HANA and Suite as well. So it's a mixed bag. Here's a short example about the cost reduction that you can expect. So calculating with 1,000 incidents a month coming from SAP, an average of 40 euros for the total cost of solving the incident, it's basically 40,000 euros a month. And we've read a lot of researches done by third-party consultancy firms around ITSM efficiencies and KPIs and so on. So these are not our numbers. We've read that, for instance, duplicates can be up to 20% of the total incoming ticket volume. So we calculated here with 15. Also, the good knowledge base can spare about 12% of incoming tickets. and as our product helps you with that, still inside SAP, you can expect additional cost reduction. As the group assignment is also automatic, that spares another 6% because of less time spent on determining the support group. And of course, automatic data collection is possibly the biggest benefit. So at the very end, you might end up with the half cost of total cost for SAP related incidents. The next slide is about the implementation. So you can see that the product works with very old SAP releases until the latest S/4HANA releases. So all you need is a NetWeaver based SAP system with a basis release of 7.00 or later. That's basically the release which is ECC 6.0 was introduced 15 years ago. We ship the product using standard transport files, so that's what you have to import. All our objects in our own registered namespace, as we are SAP application development partners. Net installation time is about 1 hour. Now, of course, I know what you're thinking. This will not be 1 hour at your company, and this gets slower as the company size increases. So if you have different teams, maybe on different continents, maybe your ServiceNow service managed by another company. So because of organizational complexity, this can take days or weeks. But if a user with all the necessary authorizations sits down to a computer, theoretically this can be done in 1 hour. The scoped ServiceNow application is really easy to install. You can do it from the ServiceNow store. You log in, press install, and everything is done in 10 minutes. We also have installation walkthrough videos on YouTube. We can help you remotely with screen sharing applications. And if you need any customer-specific business logic or additional fields to the main screen of the product, then either you can do it if you have your in-house or developers or service provider, or we can do it as a consulting service. We also have a free trial. It's for 30 days, which starts after the successful installation. The product is fully functional. We can help you with the configuration and installation naturally for free. And again, custom development is as a consulting service if you require that during the free trial. So basically that was it from my side. So if you have any questions, then please let me know. I'm happy to answer any kind of questions. Thank you.